Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Shalom. And welcome to End Time Words to Yashar'al, an awakening nation of believers. And if you're tuning in for the first time, Yashar'al consists of both Hebrew and Goyim, or Gentiles, other nations, that are made one by Yahushua, my Mashyach, my Messiah, our Messiah. This message is to you, the awakening nation of believers, Yashar'al. My name is Symmanayah, and today is June 15th, 2013. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Peace this Shabbat. I pray, my brothers and sisters, that this message find you in good health with sound mind. I pray that you are encouraged and continuing to grow richly in the Spirit of our Father, and that you're learning and discerning how to be obedient to Him, how to reflect the righteousness of the kingdom. On that note, my brothers and sisters, this segment, the title or topic of this segment is Ask, Suggest, or Command. Ask, Suggest, Command. What do we hear? Life and restored fellowship with the Almighty Yahuah is made possible by the sacrifice and resurrection of Yahushua, our Mashyach and Messiah. One could ask the question, what is expected of us? What happens in that fellowship with the Most High? We could ask many questions, but for now, let's examine something that we can do, something that we should be probably mindful of. I believe we should be mindful of. Two specific verses stand out. When we get into communicating with the Most High, two verses stand out. Romans 12:1 states, I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassions of Alahym, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to Alahym, your reasonable worship. So, my brothers, our most reasonable worship that we can do before Alahym is to present our bodies as a living offering, or in some versions, a living sacrifice. So if we present ourselves as a living sacrifice, a living offering, then we must be alive. And if we are alive, we are made alive through Yahushua, our Mashyach. And if we are made alive and we have sacrificed ourselves before Him, to Him, then we are no longer ours, but His. We belong to Him. We become one. We are made one. Yes, we become heirs to the kingdom, but we also become one with the Most High. We also become servants to the Most High. So, now that we are servants, or now that we belong to the Most High, who's going to guide us? How do we have help? Where does that begin? What is the expectation? I submit to you John 14:26, because, my brothers and sisters, if we study Scripture, we'll find out that it's important to not negate, not neglect, not ignore name. There's an importance to the name. Who do we belong to? Whom do we worship? Whom do we serve? Whom do we seek to obey? John 14:26, the Mashyach is talking here, and he says, but the Helper. The Helper is known also as the set-apart Spirit, whom many so widely say Ruach HaKodesh. Why, oh why, do we magnify saying just Ruach HaKodesh when throughout Scripture name was important? Name has always been important when it came to interacting with the Most High. But for some reason, many who are fascinated with the perceived Hebrew definition of set-apart spirit as Ruach HaKodesh, and I say perceived because the original Hebrew was pictures and symbols for the purpose of function. Somewhere along the line, Paleo or modern Hebrew came up with Ruach HaKodesh. Okay, I'm not saying that the definition is wrong, but Ruach HaKodesh simply means set-apart spirit. Ruach means spirit. Kodesh means set apart. But throughout Scriptures, my brothers and sisters, we have been really instructed. we have been instructed on the importance of name. Let me continue reading 14:26. But the helper, the set apart spirit, whom the Father will send in my name. Whose name? Who is this talking? This is Yahusha. You see, so the helper, the set apart spirit, the Father sent in his name. Whether you can receive this or not, my brothers and sisters, it does not negate what the scripture says. So I encourage you to pray. I encourage you to earnestly seek the importance of the continuity of the name. We had Yahuah, Almighty Yahuah. We had him walk, manifest in the flesh, the word manifest as Yahusha. And we have now the set apart spirit whom the Father sent in the name of Yahusha. So it is the Spirit of Yahusha, my brothers and sisters. It is the Spirit of Yahusha. And I believe with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my being, that if you truly seek to worship and obey, you will come to know that the Ruach HaKodesh is the Spirit of Yahusha. And it says here, he shall teach you all and remind you of all that I said to you. So, we see that the Spirit of Yahusha will teach us all and remind us, bring things to remembrance. So here it is, my brothers and sisters. We give ourselves as a living offering, our reasonable worship. So we give ourselves to the Most High. And we have the Spirit of Yahusha to guide us, to teach us, to bring things to remembrance. With that said, my brothers and sisters, ask yourself, does the Most High ask of us? Does he make suggestions? And or does he command us? When he gives us direction, instructions, and or guidance, how do we take that? Do we take it as a question, a suggestion, a command? How do we interpret his living instructions, his guidance? Who can discern the presence of a living Alahym? Who can discern the Spirit of Yahusha? It's time to awaken from our slumber. It's time to come away from our sluggard state and prepare for an emergence of something phenomenal. The awakening of Yashar'al, a nation of believers. The lifting up of Yahusha, that all men may be drawn. With that said, my brothers and sisters, let me share just 3 verses where the Most High asked. Genesis 3:9, and Yahuah Alahym called unto Adam, or Adam, and said to him, where are you? Genesis 3:11, and he said, this is again Yahuah, and he said, who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? You can see it was a commandment, but this is on ask. I want to just emphasize ask. We see Yahuah asking Adam, where are you? We see Yahuah asking, who made you to know that you were naked? Genesis 3:13, and Yahuah Alahym said to the woman, what is this you have done? And the woman said, the serpent deceived me, and I ate. Again, we see where Yahuah asked a question. Commanded. Let me share some about commanded. Just 3 verses. And Yahuah Alahym commanded the man, saying, eat of every tree of the garden, but do not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall certainly die. You see here, my brothers and sisters, Genesis chapter 2, verse 16 and 17, we see Yahuah gave, Almighty Father Yahuah gave a commandment. He commanded Adam. And he did not just say, well, if you disobey my commandment, you might die. Something bad might happen to you. No, no, no. Take it as a promise or a threat. However, whatever word or form you want to grab, it will not negate the fact that if you indeed did something contrary to what the Almighty commanded, in this case with Adam, he shall surely die. Genesis 6:22, and Noah did according to all that Alahym commanded him. So he did. And we know the outcome of what happened with Noah by him doing what was commanded of him. The Most High didn't suggest, he didn't ask, will you build an ark? I think you should build an ark. No, he was commanded Noah obeyed, and as you can see, it resulted in Noah and his family and those aboard the ark living, and all other living creatures that walk the faces of earth died. And I see instructed. I don't see suggested anywhere in Scripture. I've looked and searched. If you should find it, please let me know. But I do not see anywhere in Scripture where the Most High suggested to us. What about instructed? Proverbs 21:11 says, when the scoffer is punished, the simple is made wise. But when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. Isaiah 8:11, for Yahuwah spoke this to me with a strong hand. So Yahuwah had a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of this people. Galatians 6:6, and let him who is instructed in the word share in all that is good with him who is instructing. Okay, we see some instruction or instructed. What about ordered? Psalms 37:23 says, the steps of a man are ordered by Yahuwah, and he delights in his way. The steps of a man are ordered. Maybe the steps are asked. No, I don't find that to be the case. Maybe the steps are suggested by Yahuwah. No, I do not find that to be the case. Ordered. If it's ordered, could that be also akin to we are commanded to walk in the ways of the Most High? Ponder on it. Pray on it, my brothers and sisters. Matthew 21:6 says, and the taught ones went, and having done as Yahushua ordered them. So we see even the Word made flesh gave orders, and there was obedience. I again do not see Scripture where Yahushua suggested a thing. Told. One verse for you on told. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all those born in the house, and all those bought with his silver, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that same day as Alahym told him. He didn't suggest, I think maybe you should circumcise the men. He didn't ask, will you circumcise the men for me? No. Alahym told him. And I have several verses on said, the word said. Genesis 9:12. And Alahym said, this is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all generations to come. He didn't say this might be a sign. I think this is a sign. Or do you think this is a sign? No, he told. He said. This was he said. Genesis 17:9. Alahym said to Abraham, as for you, guard my covenant, you and your seed after you throughout their generations. Exodus 3:14. And Alahym said to Moshe, I am that which I am. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, or Yashar'al, I am has sent me to you. 1 Kings 3:11 and 12. So Alahym said, because you have asked this and have not asked long life for yourself, nor have asked riches for yourself, nor have asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself discernment to understand right ruling. See, I shall do according to your word. See, I shall give you a wise and understanding heart, that there was none like you before you, none like you shall rise after you. Notice, I want to read 3:11 again. Notice here, this is talking about Shlomo, or Solomon, as some mention. Notice that it says here that this wise individual, he asked for discernment to understand and right rulings. You see, my brothers and sisters, in this worship, in this obedience, in this desire to present ourselves as a living sacrifice, let us consider the example of our forefather, Solomon, and let us ask for a discerning heart that we may execute right rulings and make the right decisions and move in the right directions. Let me continue. Again, I see no suggestion or asking here. Yahusha said to him, it has also been written, you shall not try Yahuah your Elohim. Yahusha said. Matthew 4:10, then Yahusha said to him, go, Satan, for it has been written, you shall worship Yahuah your Elohim, and him alone you shall serve. Notice this is Yahusha talking. Notice the power of rebuke, the power of rejection, the power of pushing away the enemy by his word, at his spoken word. John 11:25, Yahushua said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he dies, he shall live. He said this. Think about this, my brothers and sisters. If we presented our bodies as a living sacrifice, what are we receiving in communications? What do we hear? Do we hear a lot of asking, a lot of suggesting? Or are the instructions of the Most High commands? Direct instruction, direct guidance. Are we taking lightly righteous words when they cross our ears, when we read them and they cross our eyes? They move before our face. Are we taking this communication for granted? Are we taking one another for granted, not having a discerning heart and mind, not being able to pay attention of the Yahusha, the Spirit of Yahusha within us, one towards another? When, oh brothers and sisters, will we begin to yield and allow iron to sharpen iron? Yes, we will make mistakes, but the Most High still orders our steps. You doubt it? Consider again Psalm 37:23, and I want to also read Psalm 37:24. So 37:23 and 24, and it reads as this: the steps of a man are ordered by Yahuah, and he delights in his way. Ordered. He didn't ask us. It's not a suggestion. Ordered. Could that be akin to a command? What do you hear? Psalms 37:24 says, though he falls, he is not cast down, for Yahuah is supporting his hand. So yes, we'll make mistakes, my brothers and sisters. We will. But Yahuah will support us. The power of his atonement. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. The Most High Father knows who are his. Yes, we walk around, sometimes not knowing how clogged our ears are until we are freed, until they are cleaned. Yes, we interact with one another. We may read, we may listen, we may see one another, not realizing how blurred our vision is until our sight becomes clear. Can these things happen by the word? Can these things happen by the power and might of the Most High, where our ears become more open, our eyes become clear? When it talked about faith of a mustard seed, and it gave the example of the mountain, did we read where he says, ask the mountain, will you be removed? Did we read where he says, suggest to the mountain? I think you need to be in it, cast into the sea. Or did we see instructions saying, say to the mountain? Say to the mountain. If we're saying to the mountain, was it a commandment? Is it a directive? Tell the mountain, be thou cast in the sea, and it would. Maybe, my brothers and sisters, just maybe, because we take the communications and instructions from the Most High for granted, because we take the words in our fellowship with one another for granted, because we fail to seek to discern and rightly understand and respond appropriately. Maybe these are the reasons we struggle. Let us not take these things for granted. Let us not neglect to take the seriousness in communication, let us not take that for granted. Let us begin to listen attentively to one another with a prayerful mind and heart to discern what is being said. Let us begin to walk strong in the righteousness that we've received, but let us not sit still nor become complacent. Let us learn how to absorb, how to soak up richly the word, righteous words, righteous instruction, righteous commands. Let us learn how to yield and obey. Let us learn how to increase our worship to Him and begin to walk upright, my brothers and sisters. Be encouraged, for as I said on many occasions, there will be an emergence, an increase of humbling events. There will be changes in our lives that will appear to be disruptive, depending on how we receive the communications from above. Depending on how well we listen and pay attention, our response will be different. Some of us will begin to have eyes opened, ears opened. Some of us will begin to understand and find comfort in the fulfillment of Scripture. But some of us, as these humbling events come, will cry out, taking for granted what was told, what is spoken, what is written in prophecy. Ask, suggest, command. So, what do you think your relationship is with the Most High? What do you think you're doing? How do you take the communication? You may ask, how do I take the communication? Yes, there's much room for improvement, my brothers and sisters, for all of us, including me. So I don't want anyone trying to say, oh, Symmanayah is on this self-righteous kick. No, my brothers and sisters, I am pressed forward each day, praying to discern, praying to come to grips with knowing what I should do, how I should do it, who I should speak to, when to be quiet, what to respond to. Yes, my brothers and sisters, it's time to begin to focus. It's time to sharpen our senses and receive precise communication, discerning and understanding. It's time to not be overzealous or over anxious. It's time to be precise. Well, my brothers and sisters, that's all I have for now. And I say to you, be encouraged. Be encouraged. The Most High knows those who are His. The Most High will do as He has promised, and His plan will be executed. Pray and watch. Pray and watch, for some amazing and phenomenal things are over the horizon. Until next time, my brothers and sisters. Until next time, continue to be encouraged. I pray that you have strength to endure. I pray that you pray, watch, study. I encourage you to pray some more and pray for a discerning heart. Pray for a mind to discern and receive the things that are uncovered and revealed to us. And pray for understanding so that we know what to do when we see, when things are revealed. Pray that we learn what intercessory prayer is, and I pray that we know when to act, when to be still. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, shalom, shalom, shalom.